Continuing with our module on population education, we are going to look at decision making. What is decision making? Who makes decisions? And how are these decisions to be implemented or followed through? Normally, what we see is we have large groups, outsiders making decisions for large groups. In smaller groups, it is obvious that the decisions are made by insiders. Let us consider a family. When decisions are made for a family, it's a small group, it's an insider or a group of insiders that make the decision for that family. However, when we look at a community or society, we are looking at a larger group, and somebody outside the community or society actually makes the decisions. Mostly, it should be a group of individuals. At times, it could be one single individual making the decisions for the community or the group. Either way, whether an insider is making the decisions or an outsider is making the decisions, the implementation or the follow-through rests for everyone. Everyone involved within the small group or within the larger group should be following those decisions. Normally, that is not what we see in larger groups. In smaller groups, it is more convenient to make sure that people follow through in totality to the decisions that have been made. While in larger groups, to expect hundreds and thousands of people, all of them to be following those decisions is rather unrealistic. And that creates problems for population educators, because then you not only have to deal with the decision-making process, the decision implementation process, but what do you do with individuals that do not follow through, that are reluctant to take in the decisions and live with the implications of those decisions? Less obvious but equally significant is the impact which the group has upon decisions made by individuals and within families. This simply means when anyone within the group or outside the group makes decisions, are we looking at what the group wants? Are we looking at what the group would like? Or are we being selfish and just doing what we think is the right thing to do for the group? Whether it's a family, a community, or society, it is very important for population educators to make sure that they keep what the group wants, if not wants, at least what the group needs in mind before they make decisions for the larger group. It is much more easier to work with decisions for a smaller group than it is with a larger group. Clarifying these influences is part of the process. Influence will always be there. When we make decisions, we need to clarify the concepts covered. Why have we made these decisions? If we want all individuals to buy into the process, it is our job as population educators to make sure they understand the rationale for arriving at those particular decisions. In all cases, the aim is to increase understanding of the interrelationships between the macro and micro units of society. We did talk in a previous session of the macro and micro units. The micro unit is the family. It's more specific. It's smaller. The macro units are larger, like the community and society. But when we look at individuals, individuals make the micro level. When individuals get together and we move from one individual to a family, to a community, to a society, we get to the micro level. It is important to understand the interrelationships between the micro and the macro level. How one individual behaves or acts in a community or society, for that matter, even within a family, is important consideration to keep in mind so that population educators can understand the impact of these decisions based on the interrelationships that they see. However, the range of options that are theoretically open to individuals and groups may in reality be quite limited. It's important to understand from a realistic perspective. We don't want to go overboard. we don't want to give too much consideration to facts and figures that won't eventually matter in the decision-making process. We need to be realistic, we need to be considerate, we need to understand how the other individuals within a particular group for which the decision is being made is implemented. Normally, what works in a family should work within a community and within a society. Because if you look at communities and societies, they are simply aggregates of different family units and structures. So what works in a smaller unit should realistically work in a larger unit as well.